It's different there. It's different there. Everyone brings that up all the time about that. The kind of freedom you think you're describing there isn't the freedom of it. It doesn't, at least for me, it hasn't done that. I've never had a thought of drinking. But I'm totally capable of it, but I never have a thought of it. So in my experience, that doesn't happen. Didn't happen. Yeah? I saw that the drinking was just a symptom. And now the cause of that symptom has been changed, so the symptom doesn't have any power over me. And the thing is, the thoughts, when it says, I really want to have a drink, I'm not identified with that I. So I have an immunity to that information. If you're identified with your thoughts, then the thoughts will sway you into action. Yeah? But if there's, that to me is the immunity to thought, is that I'm not the thinker of them. Yeah? So when the thoughts appear and I see it, I can have, when you have a little distance, when you're not the thinker of them, you'll see how insane some of them are, most of them. And in my experience, I feel I have freedom, but I never think of drinking. Actually, I'm probably more on a straight line than ever, because I don't need to be. Yeah? See, when you think that we're always trying to write out our own importance into everything. I mean, if I would let go, everything would go crazy. No, you may do exactly what you're doing right now. You know what I mean? If all the restraints that I can't do that were taken away, you may find you didn't do it anyway. I'm serious. That's what happened with me. The idea of having restraints is like, I really want something I can't have. It's fucking baloney. I don't want to fucking drink and use. What's the point? Yeah? I wanted to get out of myself when I drank and used. I've never been in self, so why would I want to drink and use? Yeah? The deal's done. The mind had its chance for 30 years. I listened to everything it said how to get out of itself. None of them worked. I finally found something that actually worked. And why would I go back to that faulty system and take its advice again? Oh yeah, I think you're free, Paul. You can have a drink. Well, I have a trick I can give you. There it is. I have a trick. Try to entertain the idea of subjective questioning. So when you feel like you're getting dragged back into something, ask who it is. To yourself. Ask who is this that's getting dragged back into something. And then when it says me, or it presents itself as a you, just ask it again. Who is this me? Follow that line of subjective questioning instead of the light going out to everything, the blame and doing this. Turn it on itself. It's an old Taoist thing. Turn the light upon itself. So you turn the light upon itself and you ask a simple question. Who is it that's worrying about next week? I have no opinion if you should or shouldn't be worrying about next week. The question is, who is it that's worrying about next week? Who is it that feels disconnected? Who is it that feels alcoholism creeping back in? Yeah? Doesn't mean you don't take a step to stop the creeping back in, but while you're doing everything, ask who is it that's seemingly doing it, or is it being done too? Why not? It's just see, subjective questioning is beautiful because it has no opinion about what's going on. See? It's not like, oh, I don't have to do the steps if I do. Who am I? No. If you have a need to do the steps, you better freaking do the steps. If your house is on fire, you better find a pail of water. Not saying, oh, there's no house and there's no need for water while you're burning up. That's the head in selfing trying to use this invitation to fuck you. And it will, yeah? No, get the pail of water and put out the thing. Put out the fire. But while you're doing it, entertain the fireless state. That there is the possibility that there may not be at a point need for water because there'll be no fires. It's the same thing that happened with me in AA. I'm going to do... Well, using fear inventories and resentment inventories. They were incredibly helpful. But I wanted them, in a sense, to become obsolete. I don't want to become the master of fear inventories. I don't want to have any fear to do an inventory on. I like to have that state, a fearless state. And there's possibility. It says in our book, you can outgrow fear. So if I outgrew fear, why would I need to do an inventory? Doesn't mean don't do an inventory. But the possibility is I can be free. So if, let's say, why would I need a lawnmower if I didn't have a lawn? Yeah? Where's that lawnmower? You don't need anything. I want to be free from resentments and fear. And if you look at the book, it says, being convinced, to believe with certainty that self is what has defeated us. Self, being convinced that self, manifested in various ways, is what has defeated us. Yeah? So AA is separating the two. I know self defeated me because I was identified as it. That's my own experience. Yeah? I was identified as it. So self, manifested in various ways, is what has defeated us. We will now look at its, meaning self's, common manifestations. Then the next paragraph is resentment is the number one offender. So in this way, you can actually look at an inventory as you're taking an inventory of self's expressions into your life. Literally, if that's how I read it. At first I did the inventory the old way, which was, they are your resentments and they're your fears. And I got what relief I got. And then, when this occurred with me, I started reading the book and I saw it in a new light. I say, Jesus Christ, so self is a foreign installment that's taking me over and is expressing its qualities into my life. And you can see the root of the problem being identified as self because you're claiming its expressions as yours. You can't be more identified than that. Yeah? Something that's taking you over has its own qualities. It's expressing them into your life, resentments, fears, and harming other people. And while it's doing it, every time you're claiming them to be yours. These are my fears. These are my resentments. These are my harms to others. Yeah? That's the act of being identified. Yes? I mean, how else can you read it? To me, that's what it says. So, when you see it that way, you can have a fearless and thorough inventory, because it's not about you. You don't have a vested interest to be lying or hiding something. You can say, hey, look how thorough you are when you take someone else's inventory. You're incredibly fearless and thorough, aren't you? Jesus Christ. You had no confusion. Hey, that guy fucked with me, blah, blah, blah. You know so perfectly, but you. So that's the same thing. Instead of thinking it's Paul, you realize it's Al. So now I'm going to look at Al's expressions in my life. Al's a fearful motherfucker. Al is very resentful and vindictive. Al, and that's the freedom. Yeah? Because if the self is not seen to be you, and it doesn't have carte blanche access to your life, the expressions of it will diminish. You won't have as many resentments and fears going on because self will be inhibited. You'll have an immunity. It can't get in and express through you. Yes? That's what happens. So if you don't have any fear and any resentments, you don't have to take inventories on fear and resentment. Until one pops up and grabs you, and then you do. Yeah? Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, I'm really confused right now because you really blew my mind. Like, really. I don't want to miss anything that you're going to say. But myself has to pee really bad. So now,
Go.
what should I do?
Take a piss. I'll wait till you get back. Yeah.
You mentioned children playing games like that. Now, as they're doing that, they're increasing things like speed or dexterity or patience or things like that. So I'm wondering how basic acceptance of self and living in the moment, how you're growing, progressing, meeting challenges. Are you looking forward and then doing everything you need to do and then how to reach that final goal?
You may be or you may not. I have no idea.
You just end up where you're supposed to be.
Well, you'll end up where you are. If you want to say that's where you're supposed to be, it's a pretty good definition. But I don't know. To me, it's not like a rote formula. It's a living thing. Yeah? So if I have like a tendency to be lazy as its action figure, I'll probably still be lazy. Who knows? Yeah? But I won't be concerned that much about it. So I'll be free while I'm lazy. Yeah.
So if I have goals and say I want to be something, like I want to go to school and want to do, like, have a career, right? Is that being of self, or is that driven by some other power?
That's part of the apparatus. We're conditioned. Yeah? We live, that's like when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. But like Jesus said a really nice thing, or supposedly said, I don't know what he said, but I really like the statement where he says, you're in this world, but not of this world. So while you're in this world, you have dreams, you have aspirations, all this stuff, but you're not of this world. You're not of separation. You're not of individual units. You're of something other than that, yeah? But while you're in this world, it's appearing you're a separate unit that has a past and a future and goals. Why? So what? You just wear them loosely. You travel with them loosely. It's part of being here, seemingly here. But you're not from here. You're like on a work visa. You're not a citizen of this place. You're a citizen of the fourth dimension, and you're on a work visa here. Yeah.
Through your experience, did you find that, like in the beginning, working through the 12 steps and sitting, you were more able to just have that effortless experience of being present?
Well, it sure seemed to have something to do with it in the story. You know what I mean? I mean, the steps at least got me in the vicinity of what was happening. Yeah? Day at a time and all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe when you get into this neighborhood, you'll run into it. You know? So maybe it helped making it obvious. But I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, really. I have a lot of ideas of what I'm not. I've seen that well. But I have no idea what's happening, really. I can never figure it out. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, bro. We'll have one more question. Oh, he's back. We'll have two more questions. Yeah.
I pretty much understood everything else that you talked about, except for the fact lack of time or absence of time or time being something that we define our state or our future or our past being. Just because of the fact that there's such tangible evidence. In my life, I have scars. Planets have craters. Sun's eventually going to burn out. So I guess my question is that how can you, is time something that self has created in order to define us as we are today, or what we want to be tomorrow, or our aspirations, or our goals? Or is all that just part of the makeup of what we don't understand on a daily basis? Is that how the universe works?
I think this is just my opinion, yeah? I think how the universe works has certain time, but as a teacher I used to say, there's also psychological time. That's what the self is involved with, yeah? It's different. To me, it's like the head is playing God, and it's really making a bastardization of what's going on. If you watch it, it tries to make like there's only one, like they say the universe, there's only one or whatever, but it makes the only one you. You know what I mean? You become the center of the universe. So it really tries to duplicate, let's say, what's happening, but it puts a really weird spin on it. Yeah? So, like love, it has ideas of love, but they're usually about acquiring or possessing another. Yeah? And the other idea of love is more of an extension. Yeah? You're just extending energy, but its idea is to acquire and privatize. Yeah? It's like, in this world, in AA, we say, hey, you have it by giving it away. Yeah? But in let's say in this world, have you ever met a Coke dealer that lived by that? No. Of course. Have it by giving away. No, I have it by having it. But in this other modality, you have by giving. Yeah? So it's like a whole different world, or I like to call it a modality, that you access. See, right now our antenna is just picking up K-Paul all day, yeah? But it has the ability to pick up a lot of different frequencies. But it's just been addicted to this one frequency, and it's flipping it out totally. When that gets broken, it can pick up other modalities, where that idea of having it by giving it away is the currency of that modality. That is a principle of that modality. It's not about privatizing and owning and acquiring and doing. It's about being, yes? Freely extending, because there's no quantity that's going to run out, yeah? There's no, someone has more than I do, and I have less than they do. None of that's going on. It's just, yeah, so it's like, you tap into, it's like your antenna is free from picking up that one station, and it picks up other stuff. And so, like in the self-centered station, the idea of being okay is always put in time. I will be okay. maybe an hour, 8 hours, or 10 days, or a couple years, or when I graduate from school. There's always this, I will be okay then. But this is, I am okay. Yeah? It's a whole different modality. It's like, all right, its importance isn't on time, it's now. Okay. Yeah. And it's none of you, you're not doing any of it. You're just accessing a new modality that's expressing it, and it's not a self-centered modality. Self isn't in this modality of spirit. So there's no selfing going on in a way that idea of being a self isn't dominant in this, let's say, quote-unquote spiritual modality. It's free of the idea of being self. And so when you access it, it's the same energy, but it runs a whole different movie. And then you start seeing with, like Jesus says, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, you have the same equipment, but you see differently and you hear different things. Everything starts shifting. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. All right, you want that one question? Oh, you had the question about the piss. All right, there's done. One more.
How is this love separate than this acceptance?
I don't know. I don't see it as separate.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Love and acceptance. I don't see anything as separate. You know, those are names. You know, I don't know. I have no idea, really. See, one thing I'll end with. In AA, we start out as being this identification as self. So AA gives us this opportunity to do service, yes? The whole program is about service in a lot of ways. So when I used to do service, what happened is I'd get out of myself, seemingly that self I was thinking I was in, and I'd feel available. Yeah? That had a certain feeling. You'd feel lighter and bigger because you were helping that other person. So you're in this self-centeredness, you do the act of service, you feel available, and then in that availability, you sense a presence sometimes. You'd feel like, hey, I feel really light or something. Yeah? And so what occurs is we go back into the whole self-centeredness quite a lot, and then we have to do more service to feel available and sense the presence. But what can occur is you are the presence. You are the presence, and when you are the presence, that makes you available at all times, and that makes you of service. Yeah? So there's a difference of doing service and being of service. Of service is more of an attitude than an act. Yeah? You start having an attitude of being of service, and it's not you having that attitude, it's just an expression because there isn't that you blocking it, the idea of being a you. So you're sensing a presence, you're available, and that makes you of service. It's beautiful. It's a really nice way to go. And there's no you doing it. That's the beautiful news. Because if it was based on you doing it, then you wouldn't do it half the time. Yeah? I don't want to have a connection that's based on me doing something, because I will realize, I'll say I'm not going to do it, and then I'll live in not being connected. I want the connected to be so, no matter what my head says. I want the connection to be a reality that my illusion can't change. Yeah. So my higher power, I view it as it's always available at all times with no requirement necessary to meet it. Yeah? Yeah.
Are you speaking again? This last one or this one?
No, this is the last one. But hey, we can stay here all night, bro. This isn't, I love to convey it because of the proof in the pudding for me. I can't express the quality of this relief. I can't express it. So I'm driven to give out the invitation because of the quality of the relief that came about entertaining it. Yeah? And I know that it's important, in my experience with it, repetition is helpful, because the head it's not natural to see things from here. So we have to sort of insert it and maybe do it in repetition until the head will move and calibrate differently, and you'll see new. You'll open up your lens. It's like a lens, really. Self-centeredness has got the aperture really down, small. So you're looking at everything from a tunnel vision. And that's really the dilemma. It's causing all the unhappiness because you're not open. And this is about opening up the lens. And it never ends. It just keeps opening. Yeah? I haven't seen it end yet, anyway. It just... So more gets revealed and more downloads of stuff and no stuff. And it's pretty damn cool. So I have an itch about sharing it with people, especially from my tribe, you know. Because I know we're like suffering factories. We go to the factory of what's not happening, and we produce a product called suffering, and then we bring it into what's happening. It's incredible, huh? Yes? Hey, bro.
It's just tight now. It's so simple. It's just eat. It's like I'm identifying with this show we talked yesterday, and I've been getting a little bit of relief lately as far as trying sobriety and shit like that, because a lot of the problem I have with relapse is I entertain everything you do, and I seem to think that I feel about when it is, when I'm going to talk it all up, and I feel that identifying myself as, you know, being a fuck up, and it's only a better time, dude, you know, I've been learning how to whatnot, and kind of, I've been trying not to entertain that shit, you know, I've been trying to, and hear what you say, trying to be more present and not fucking living in that future, and I've been kind of thinking maybe that's kind of like a higher power thing working for me lately or whatnot. It's kind of, it's just so hard to talk about. It's like you try to talk about it, it's like fleeting, it's hard to grasp. But I don't know, I've been feeling some relief in that as far as not going with the thought that relapse is going to happen. It doesn't have to happen, dude. You know, who knows what's going to happen type deal. It's like,
That's right.
right here type of deal. So.
That's right. And hey man, isn't it seem like a natural response if something caused you to feel not, I mean, a drug or anything, but if you were just sitting here and you felt lighter and this and that, why not go for it? You know? Why? Oh, I don't know if I want that. But you had constantly living with the hope of getting it. But no, I don't know if I want that. It's fucking crazy, man. When I heard this thing, it like was an unspoken yes, really. It just reverberated in my gut. I just said, fuck, yeah. You know, something just turned me around, and that was that. That's it. I'm looking in this direction for a while, checking it out. Yeah, because I'm tired. You know, it wasn't making it for me out there either way. Having all the goodies or not having them, I can't enjoy a lot of stuff with this head.
Is it like the victim of the delusion?
Yeah. See, anytime it would get great, if it shows up, it starts to suck. You know. It's like every party I've ever been to sucked when I got there. You know? I sort of see the deal there. Yeah. Hey, thank you. Hey, thanks for hanging in with us, too. Yeah. And there's some CDs from last night, and then you can download. Well, I'm going to put it up it'll be on the website this week when I get home. But you can download them and check them out. ZenBitchSlap.com. Yeah, ZenBitch, one thing. ZenBitch, and you can go on iTunes too. Throw a couple bucks, that'd be great. I can take the CDs. Yeah, a lot of Hey, you welcome. Thank you. Hey.
Is there more information just on your website?
Yeah. It's all in there. There's tons of talks. I go trucking around every once in a while. Good talks.
Do you go elsewhere?
Yes. Went to New York a little while ago. Just go back there in January. And then have me up here. You from here?
You ever make it to Canada?
I haven't gone there yet, but I would. Sure. There's people that are interested. I have the website. But they haven't asked me. There's a lot of people from Canada that have gotten in touch with me.
Nelson would love you.
Who's Nelson?
Nelson, BC?
Oh, Nelson. Where is it?
In BC?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're in towards Vancouver.
Where Spokane is? North of Spokane.
Oh, is it? Really?
Yeah.
Well, call me up. Hey, on the website.
You know what?
If you email me your number, I'll tell you.
The way with it.
Yeah, listen to it. And, yeah. Hit me up. I like them. Stay blessed. Hey, take care, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm happy you hung out there.
Yeah, good. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Really, life-changing shit.
Good. Thank you. Good, man. Hey, excuse me 1 second. Yeah, go to the website, or I'll have. You know what I'll try to do? I'll make some CDs tonight, and if you see me, I'll have.
Okay, cool.
I'll burn some tonight.
Right on.
Yeah.
You know, I was like you. I was 18, I was over 7 years ago. I just, once I started the spiritual thing, I just started reading, just great. Trying to get down to Eckhart Tolle. Oh, no, not wrong. But what I like about you is you're presenting an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You present the more for the normal person trying to find it. And you know, you got a tough sell.
I know.
Yeah.
Toughest audience.
Well, and I would think controversial for some of the old timers.
Yes.
Yes.
I got a lot of credit though, credits, because I did a lot of service and taught a lot of people 4-step workshops. And I started doing this.
Great message. I have to grab this hug, man.
Yeah.
Again, this is awkward, you know.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Very good stuff.
.com. Yeah, you can download and then you can email me, call me on.
Well, I have I think for some people it's like those old pictures that were computer generated. You ever saw them? And you had to get the right distance and cross your eyes just right, and either you could or and that's kind of how this is with the right thought.
But you never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And that's what it's there.
So it's nice to set up a situation where it can happen. That's how I like it. Well, I think exposing self over and over. Sometimes it does take hold. And then it's you don't have to keep be a certain personality. You have to travel lighter and Boston's like you. Which I don't know. I do about 11, 20 years. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, Michael Paul. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to explore, right? Yeah. Yeah. Really different from anything I've heard. Really appreciate it. Yeah. No, I wrote it down. Where are you from?
Okay, but how did you guys have
I should come out. Maybe I'll come up and introduce some I did right now, but I mean, yeah. The guy Mark knows the chairman of this. Yeah, Mark. And he's the one who got me. Talk to him and come up. Yeah,
It's just, it's funny because I
Yes.
would come